Let me tell you something that most women will never accept. Men don't care about your sacrifices. They don't care how much you do for them, and they definitely don't stay loyal just because you were good to them. That's not how male loyalty actually works. In fact, the more a woman tries to earn his loyalty by doing things for him, the faster she usually loses him. Today, I'm going to break down exactly why. Because men are loyal, just not to what most women think. Stay with me, because once you understand this, you'll never be confused about men again. I am Liz Rose, a relationship expert, author, and researcher of emotional dynamics between men and women. For years, I have studied attraction, male behavior, emotional intelligence, and the patterns that bring people together or drive them apart. Today, I want to share with you what I have learned through my research, my professional experience, and the thousands of stories I've encountered throughout my journey. Before we go deeper, just a quick thing. If these videos have been helping you understand relationships better, you can support this work by subscribing, joining the membership, or sharing this content. Your support means I can keep making content that actually tells you the truth instead of what sounds nice. All right, let's keep going. The fantasy we all bought into. Most women are sold a fantasy. They're told, be supportive, be there for him, do more, give more, and he'll stay. So they put in time, energy, attention, money, emotional work. And for a while, it seems to work. He likes it, he enjoys it, he benefits from it. But here's the thing, liking something is not loyalty, and comfort is not love. Here's the first truth about men. They don't get attached to effort. They get attached to how they feel around you. How you make him feel matters more than anything you actually do for him. You can give him everything, but if the feeling fades, so does his interest. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. Have you ever noticed that some women do almost nothing, yet men stay crazy about them, while other women do everything and still get left? That's not an accident. That's how male psychology works. The real truth about male loyalty. Here's what most women miss. Men are loyal to how a woman makes them feel about themselves, not her effort, not her loyalty, not how consistent she is. Their loyalty is about feeling, not logic. And this is where most women give away their power. They think loyalty comes from proving their worth. But male psychology doesn't work that way. The minute a woman starts doing too much to keep him, she's showing fear of losing him. And fear kills attraction faster than anything. Think about it. When you're constantly trying to prove you're good enough, what are you really saying? That you don't think you're already enough, that you need to make up for something, that you're scared he'll leave if you stop doing all this stuff. And men pick up on this worry, even when you don't say it out loud. Men are loyal to the woman who owns her own power. When men actually leave, here's something most people won't say out loud. Men don't leave when a woman is bad to them. They leave when a woman becomes emotionally needy. When she starts needing constant reassurance. When she needs him to validate her instead of bringing her own confidence. When she explains everything instead of just being sure of herself. That's when his loyalty starts slipping away. I've watched it happen so many times. A woman who was once confident slowly becomes insecure. She starts asking, "Are we okay?" More and more. She needs him to tell her she's enough after every little fight. She says sorry for things that don't even need an apology. And slowly, almost without anyone noticing, he starts pulling away. Not because he's a jerk, not because he doesn't appreciate her, but because the whole feeling between them has changed. The power of who you are. Now comes the part that surprises most women. Men are loyal to who you are, not what you do. Not how nice you are. Not how much effort you put in. Who you are. If who you are is strong, what you do matters way less. If who you are is weak, nothing you do can fix it. That's why men stay loyal to women who walk away when they're disrespected. Women who don't beg, who don't do too much, who don't fall apart emotionally. Those behaviors show high value, and loyalty flows up, never down. This is hard to hear. We want to believe that being good is enough, that treating someone well automatically makes them loyal. But people are more complicated than that. Respect doesn't come from what you give someone. It comes from how you see yourself. The difference between guilt and loyalty. Let's talk about the difference between feeling obligated and actual loyalty. A man can feel like he owes you something, like he should be grateful, like he's comfortable with you, and still not feel loyal. Because loyalty needs respect. And respect doesn't come from giving things. It comes from having boundaries. I want you to really get this difference. Feeling obligated feels like owing a debt. Loyalty feels like devotion. When a man stays because he feels bad, he's mentally keeping score, counting what you've done, weighing his guilt against how unhappy he is. But when a man is really loyal, there's no scoreboard. He stays because something deeper is happening. He stays because of who you are, not what you've given him. Men are loyal to women moving forward in life. Here's the next truth. When a woman is growing and going somewhere, he feels pulled into her world. When she stops growing, he starts emotionally checking out. It doesn't matter how great she was before. Male attraction focuses on right now. Who you are today matters more than who you were yesterday. This is why staying stuck kills relationships. Not fights, not distance, not even problems. Being stuck. When a woman loses her own direction, he loses that pull toward her, and loyalty fades quietly. Think about the relationships you've seen fall apart. How many of them ended because the woman stopped growing? She got too comfortable, stopped going after her own goals, stopped pushing herself, and suddenly, the man who once was obsessed with her started seeing her differently. The spark didn't disappear because she did something wrong. It disappeared because she stopped doing anything at all. How a woman handles losing matters. Most men are also loyal to how a woman handles loss. When things go wrong, when there's a fight, when emotions get high, does she stay calm or does she lose it? A woman who can lose without losing herself becomes unforgettable because staying calm when things are hard is rare. Most women panic when they think they might lose him. They freak out. They get emotional. They try to control everything by pushing or begging. But the woman who can face possibly losing him with dignity, who can say, "I care about you, but I'm not going to beg," becomes impossible to forget. Here's something subtle but powerful. Men don't test women on purpose. They test emotionally. They pull back a little. They get a bit colder. They create space, not to leave, but to see who you are when you're not getting reassurance. And how you react to that test decides everything. If you chase, you lose. If you explain too much, you lose. If you panic, you lose. But if you stay centered, a little detached but still present, his loyalty gets stronger. What men are not loyal to. Now let's talk about what men are not loyal to. They're not loyal to always being available, to needing them emotionally, to trying to please them all the time, to giving up yourself without any limits. Those things feel safe to a man, but safe without attraction creates boredom, and boredom is the start of the end. This is where good women lose good men. They think always being available shows love. They think having no life outside of him shows commitment. They think agreeing with everything shows compatibility. But what it actually shows is no sense of self. And you can't be loyal to someone who has no self because there's nothing to be loyal to. Here's the biggest mistake women make. They think love equals loyalty. Love is a feeling. Loyalty is about respect. A man can love a woman and still leave her, but he'll have a really hard time leaving a woman he respects. Love goes up and down. It changes with moods, with experiences. But respect is the foundation. It's what everything else sits on. A man might stop feeling in love for a bit, but if the respect is still there, so is he. So, what are men truly loyal to? Emotional strength, self-respect, a woman going somewhere in life, who she is and how they feel around her, not what she does for them. This is why sometimes saying nothing works better than talking. Why walking away creates more impact than chasing. Why keeping your emotions controlled beats letting everything out. Because control shows power, and power creates loyalty. What strength really means, let me be really clear. This isn't about being cold or playing games or not caring. It's about being complete in yourself. A woman who doesn't constantly need validation forces him to feel her value. Real strength isn't being mean. It isn't controlling him. It isn't pulling away to punish him. Real strength is knowing your worth so deeply that you don't need constant proof of it. It's being able to love someone without needing them to complete you. It's having the guts to walk away from disrespect even when it hurts. When you stop trying to earn loyalty and start just being valuable, everything changes. He listens more, respects more, feels more, and loyalty becomes natural, not something you have to force. Why being too good backfires. If you've ever wondered why being too good backfired, why giving more didn't help, why he pulled away for no reason, now you know. It was never about effort. It was about who you were becoming, or more accurately, who you weren't becoming. Because when a woman stops growing, she starts shrinking in his eyes. Not because men are shallow, but because being attracted to growth is built into male psychology. The woman who keeps evolving, who faces challenges, who works on herself, that woman stays attractive. The woman who stops growing, who becomes predictable, who stops pushing herself, that woman becomes invisible. Even if she's kind, even if she's loyal, even if she does everything right. The final truth. Here's what I need you to understand. Male loyalty isn't about what's fair. It's not about justice. It's not about who deserves what. It's about basic psychology that exists below conscious thought. You can fight it. You can call it unfair. You can wish it was different, or you can understand it and use that understanding to build better relationships. The choice is yours. But pretending reality is something different won't change anything. It'll just leave you confused when your relationships fall apart, even though you tried so hard. The truth is simple, even if it's uncomfortable. Men are loyal to strength, not sacrifice. To who you are, not what you do. To your presence, not how present you are for them. Master this, and loyalty becomes easy. Ignore this, and you'll spend your life wondering why your best wasn't good enough. But here's what else you need to understand. The trap of overfunctioning. Most women fall into what I call the overfunctioning trap. They see a need and they fill it. They see him struggling and they fix it. They see space and they fill it with more effort, more care, more doing. In the beginning, he might appreciate it, but appreciation and respect are two completely different things. When you overfunction in a relationship, you're actually training him to underfunction. You're teaching him that you'll handle it, that you'll pick up the slack, that you'll be the one who cares more. And slowly, the balance tips. You become the one who's more invested, more worried, more emotionally involved, and he becomes the one who's just along for the ride. Here's what women don't realize. Men don't respect what comes too easily. It's not that they're ungrateful. It's that human beings, all of us, value what we have to work for. When everything is handed to a man, when every need is met before he even asks, when every problem is solved before he has to lift a finger, you remove his ability to feel like a man in the relationship. I know that sounds backwards. I know you're thinking, but I'm showing him I care. I'm showing him I'm a good partner. And you are, but you're also showing him that you don't need him to step up because you've already stepped up for both of you. The investment principle. Here's something that changes everything once you understand it. People become loyal to what they invest in, not what invests in them. When a man invests time, energy, and thought into winning you, into keeping you, into making you happy, he becomes attached to you, not because of what you did, but because of what he did. This is why the woman who's a little bit of a challenge, who has her own life, who doesn't drop everything for him, often ends up with more loyalty than the woman who's always available. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about actually being hard to get because you have a full life that matters to you. When you're always there, always available, always putting him first, he never has to think about losing you. He never has to work to keep your attention. He never has to invest effort into making sure you're happy because you're already doing that job for him. And without that investment, loyalty doesn't grow. Think about anything in your life that you've worked really hard for. Maybe a degree, maybe a skill, maybe a goal you chased for years. Don't you value that more than things that just came easily? That's human nature, and men are human too. The masculine need to pursue Here's another truth that might sound old-fashioned, but it's psychological reality. Men are wired to pursue, not because of society, not because of outdated ideas, but because pursuit creates investment, and investment creates attachment. When you remove a man's ability to pursue by doing all the pursuing yourself, you're actually removing his path to loyalty. I see this all the time. A woman meets a guy and really likes him. She decides to show him by doing everything. She texts first. She plans the dates. She makes sure he knows she's interested. She does the emotional work. And she thinks this is helping, that this is building the relationship. But what it's actually doing is preventing him from building his own attachment. When he's the one texting first, he's thinking about you. When he's the one planning dates, he's investing mental energy into you. When he's the one doing the emotional work, he's creating his own attachment to you through his actions. But when you do all of that for him, he's just receiving. And receiving doesn't create loyalty. This doesn't mean you do nothing. It doesn't mean you're cold or distant or playing games. It means you match energy, not exceed it. It means you let him come toward you as much as you go toward him. It means you give him space to miss you, to think about you, to want you. The scarcity of self-respect. Here's something men will never tell you directly, but I will. Men are attracted to scarcity. Not game-playing scarcity, real scarcity. A woman who has boundaries is scarce because not everyone gets access to her. A woman who has standards is scarce because not everyone meets them. A woman who has self-respect is scarce because she won't tolerate just anything. And scarcity creates value in the human mind. When something is rare, when something requires meeting a standard, we naturally value it more. This is basic psychology. So when you have no boundaries, when your time is always available, when you accept behavior that doesn't meet your standards, you're not showing love, you're showing abundance. And abundance lowers value. I know this is uncomfortable to hear. We want to believe that love should be unconditional, that if we just love someone enough, they'll love us back the same way. But romantic love doesn't work like that. Romantic love requires polarity, requires tension, requires a reason to pursue and keep pursuing. The woman who has other things going on in her life, who has friends, who has goals, who has interests outside of him, that woman is naturally scarce because her time and attention are divided among things that matter to her. And that scarcity makes her attention valuable when she does give it. When respect disappears, let me tell you exactly when a man's respect starts disappearing. It's when he realizes he can do anything and you'll still be there, when he can cancel plans and you'll understand, when he can pull away and you'll chase, when he can disrespect your time and you'll make excuses for him, when he can be inconsistent and you'll be patient. I'm not saying men are looking to treat you badly. Most men are actually good people who want good relationships. But human nature is human nature. When we learn that someone will accept anything from us, we stop trying as hard. We stop showing up as fully. We stop investing as deeply. Not consciously, but it happens. And here's the really painful part. The more you tolerate, the less he respects you. The less he respects you, the worse he treats you. The worse he treats you, the more you try to win back his good treatment by being even more understanding, even more patient, even more available. And the cycle gets worse. This is why boundaries aren't mean. They're necessary. When you have clear boundaries about what you will and won't accept, you're giving him a roadmap for how to keep you. You're showing him, this is what respect looks like in my world. Meet it or lose me. And that clarity actually makes him feel more secure, not less, because now he knows where he stands. The difference between masculine and feminine energy. Here's something about male psychology that explains a lot. Men are attracted to feminine energy, but they're loyal to feminine energy that also has a backbone. Pure softness, without any strength, becomes something he feels protective of, but not attracted to. It's the combination that creates lasting loyalty. Feminine energy is receptive. It's flowing. It's nurturing. It's warm. And men love that. They're drawn to it like nothing else. But feminine energy without boundaries, without self-respect, without the ability to walk away, becomes something he takes for granted. It becomes expected, not valued. The women who keep men loyal long-term are the ones who can be soft and strong at the same time, who can be loving and have limits, who can be supportive and still put themselves first when needed. That combination is rare, and rarity creates loyalty. Most women lean too far in one direction. They're either all softness and they get walked over, or they're all strength and they push him away. The sweet spot is being soft enough that he wants to be around you, but strong enough that he knows he could lose you. That tension is what keeps attraction alive. Why men pull away from women who love them. Here's one of the most painful patterns I see. A man pulls away from a woman who genuinely loves him, who treats him well, who would do anything for him, and she's left thinking, what did I do wrong? I gave him everything. But that's exactly the problem. She gave him everything. When a man doesn't have to work for your love, when it's just freely given no matter what he does, it loses meaning. Not because he's a bad person, but because humans don't value what they don't earn. Think about it. If someone just handed you a trophy for doing nothing, would you feel proud of it? Would you display it? Would it mean something to you? Probably not. But if you trained for months, competed hard, overcame obstacles, and then earned that trophy, you'd treasure it. Same object, completely different meaning. Your love works the same way. When he has to earn it, when he has to maintain it, when he has to show up for it, it means something to him. When it's just given regardless of his behavior, it becomes background noise. This is why the woman who's willing to walk away often ends up with more loyalty than the woman who says she'll never leave. Not because men want you to leave, but because your willingness to leave shows that your love has conditions, that it must be earned, that it's valuable enough that you won't let just anyone have it. The role of mystery and independence. Men stay loyal to women they don't fully figure out, not because they're confused, but because there's always something more to discover. A woman who has her own full life, her own thoughts, her own world that exists separately from him, that woman maintains natural mystery. He can't predict her completely because she's not orbiting around him. This is why women who give up their entire lives to revolve around a man often lose him. They become too known, too predictable, too available. There's no mystery left. He knows exactly what she'll do, exactly what she'll say, exactly how she'll react. And humans get bored with what's completely predictable. Your independence isn't threatening to a quality man. It's attractive. When you have your own friends, your own hobbies, your own goals, your own thoughts that don't center on him, you remain interesting. You remain someone worth pursuing. You remain someone he could lose if he doesn't keep showing up. The women who keep men long-term are the ones who maintain their own identity inside the relationship. They don't disappear into him. They stay themselves, just with a partner. And that separate identity creates natural polarity, natural attraction, natural loyalty. How modern dating culture confuses women. Here's why this is harder now than ever before. Modern dating culture tells women to be the pursuer, to make the first move, to show interest clearly, to communicate directly, to be available, to be easygoing, to not have too many standards, because that's being too picky. And all of that advice creates women who give away their power. I'm not saying go back to some old-fashioned idea where women can't make any moves. I'm saying understand the psychological reality underneath the social changes. Male psychology hasn't changed as fast as dating culture has. Men are still wired to value what they pursue, to attach to what they invest in, to respect what has standards. So when you follow modern advice to do everything, to be everything, to accept everything, you're working against male psychology. You're making it harder for him to become loyal because you're removing his need to earn you. I know that's not fair. I know it would be easier if male psychology matched modern dating culture, but it doesn't. And pretending it does leaves you confused when your relationships fail.